Hello, everybody. Song gets to 134 here.
I'm Average Joe Squad.
And I'm, it's my birthday, 94. It's not my birthday.
You got a lot of accounts.
Looks like you're going to have to blow out your candles, because it's time for another episode.
It's going to keep taking down YouTube.
And we got something a little special. We've actually been trying to do this for a long time. I think since...
Before Spider-Man.
Yeah, well, since, like,
Last
the
year?
first Spider-Man, actually, I think we were trying to get this going. Doug's has been wanting to do, do this review for a while.
Wait,
we just have
just me. I mean,
him and I are eventually going to get to it.
I
but
wanna
like
join it.
We actually held off on doing it because we wanted you to be in it.
yeah, I want to join, yeah.
But basically, to quit being around the bush, we're doing Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
And I know probably a lot of you are going to start typing in the comments, oh, but Adam, you guys, you have Spider-Miss, you do Spider-Miss, you don't need to do Spidey at the end of the time of the year, Spider-Miss,
You gotta do your comic book guy
Spider-Miss.
This is our channel. We do what the fuck we want.
This is the worst podcast ever.
Well, then, like, to be fair, guys,
We're
like,
only trained.
like, the show's called Remember the Hyphen. We are based on Spider-Man. Like, we can do Spider-Man the whole year. Spider-Miss is just dedicated so that we always have Spider-Man stuff each year in case we don't do any other part of the year. But so that, it's
So
fine.
stop bitching.
It's fine. But anyway, so when did the first one come out? 2010 or 2011?
2011.
I want to say it was
2010, I
Yeah,
want
it's
to say. Because the
2010.
other one was 2013, 2014. 10
So
years Avengers, so.
So about 3 years between the last Raimi film and this, there was really nothing. Well, aside from Spectacular Spider-Man, but then Disney bought the rights to Marvel, and they just put the kibosh on that. But basically,
We're all sitting there waiting for Spider-Man 4.
yeah. Unfortunately,
We got this.
Yeah, unfortunately, due to the fact that Spider-Man 3 didn't do very well and was critically panned, him and I both like Spider-Man 3, but when it came out, it wasn't.
It paled in comparison.
It paled in
to
comparison.
the two prior to it.
Yeah, particularly 2. And Sony, in what I believe is the beginning of their infinite wisdom, the same wisdom that made the Emoji Movie and them to cancel the Tarkovsky Popeye film, which actually
that was a crime against humanity. And then he goes on to do fucking Transylvania Hotel.
Basically, they decided, let's get rid of Raimi, and let's take Spider-Man and all the stuff that was liked in the Raimi films, and let's just sweep that into the dustbin. We're going to take Spider-Man in a new, bold direction, which means it's going to be shit. Enter the Mark Webb movies. So, and I know people are like, oh, come on, it wasn't exactly like that. It was a lot like that. I can't remember what interview, because I remember when I was hearing about these coming out, I actually saw interviews and stuff. Legitimately, Mark Webb said that Sony wanted to go in a different direction from the Raimi films. Which, if you know anything about him and I, we love the Raimi films because they're pretty much what you see in the comic.
That's what I want out of a fucking Spider-Man movie.
Yeah. So, when they say we're going to do the opposite of that, it kind of means that some alarm bells started going off.
I actually remember because I never saw either movie in theaters. I
saw the first one in theaters.
Oh, excuse me. There's a little phlegm in my throat, but I didn't see these movies until 2019.
Yeah.
Because I remember when the first one came out. I remember seeing the trailer for it, right? And I didn't even recognize that it was fucking Spider-Man at first. I'm just watching, I'm like, look, I saw it on TV and I'm like, oh, there's Emma Stone. I'm like, that costume looks really familiar. I don't know why. But then I saw the title. I'm like, they're doing Gwen? I'm like, what is this? And I was like, then Andrew shut up. I'm like, and literally, to quote Samuel L. Jackson, who the fuck is this asshole?
Yeah, no.
Me as a young as a guy who grew up in the early 2000s with Toby, I was like, where the fuck's Toby?
Who's
Yeah.
this
What is-
asshole?
yeah, who's this asshole? And like that's like I went on because like the years between 3 and Amazing 1, we've been hearing rumors of 4,
Yeah, 4.
like that they were gonna do Black Cat or like the Vulture. I remember seeing a poster for fucking Carnage at one point. So like
Maximum Clonage.
no, they weren't gonna do fucking Maximum
Maximum
Clonage.
Clonage.
You shut your mouth. But fucking like there have been a lot of rumors about what were they gonna do? Like what were they gonna do after 3?
There really were. Like
There was a lot of stuff about like Kirsten Dunst didn't want to come back. Toby didn't want to do another one.
They kicked Raimi.
Well, Raimi quit.
Well, yeah, actually, yeah, Raimi quit.
Raimi wasn't happy with the script, so he went back to rewrite it again. Well, Sony basically gave him a deadline and said, hey, we're not giving you any more time. Give us the script. So he was like, okay, you know what? Rather than give people a movie I know they ain't going to like,
yeah.
I'll just bail.
Which I give Raimi a lot of credit for doing that, because, like, granted, I worry how good 4 would have been if he had done it.
I think at this point in time, we kind of have the same reaction to it that we have to just, like, London After Midnight.
Yeah.
There's no way it's gonna, at this point in time even, like, let's say they do some crazy shit and somehow Raimi gets to make Spider-Man 4 now.
Yeah.
It's
just,
not gonna be able to, I love the movies.
Yeah.
I know for a fact that it will not live up to the hype I've given it over the years.
Which is why we're going to
It's become
eventually make our own Spider-Man 4.
It's become this white whale, this unobtainable thing that you've lusted after it and you've dreamed over it and you've slobbered over it so many times. If you get it, it won't nearly be as good as you think.
Yeah. We might have to do like a video on like Spider-Man 4 just in general, just talking
about just the rumors I've read
like,
about
just
it
the rumors, just talk
the storyboards that got
there's
leaked.
Finally. I want to say there's little script snippets too of it.
Because Raimi's barely ever talked about it.
Yeah. I think the other thing for me that made me I was like 21 when this movie came out. Like my taste in movies had mellowed out a lot. Like I was still.
Oh, this is College Adam.
Yeah, College Adam was kind of an asshole. I'm not a big fan of some of the things I was as College Adam. Not everything, but like a lot of it was my. I would say taste in movies and just.
You thought that Scott Pilgrim vs. the World was the best film ever?
Actually, I thought that movie was crap when I first saw it.
Oh, you're the opposite.
But like for me, the thing that turned me off this movie instantly was the very first like trailer we got and the end where they showed the new Spider-Man costume.
Oh.
That costume, I was like, what the fuck is that? Why?
This is the Dan Slott era where there's a new costume every 3 weeks.
Well, yeah, especially because this was around the time I was reading the Slott comics, and I'm like, so now not only are the comics shit, I'm gonna get a shitty movie. Because I remember seeing that costume. I remember I hated the costume when I first. Nowadays, I've kind of mellowed out to the first Amazing Suit.
When I first watched it, I didn't like it, and it's kind of grown on me.
Like, well, especially because like it was more of what I saw about how they wanted to change what Raimi did. Not only are they doing everything that I don't like about Spider-Man, they also changed the costume.
Also, you get to watch Uncle Ben get shot again.
Well, that I had to accept that, but. And the other thing was they kept bringing up the fact that Andrew Garfield was going to do skateboarding shit in this movie to like.
What is this fucking 2003?
Well, yeah, like they.
It's Tony. It's because I had somebody, honest to God, tell me that. Well, that was accurate because him being a skateboarder is comic book accurate because he's in the Tony Hawk games. I'm like, that makes no fucking sense.
That's stupid.
I'm like, the only reason that was a thing was it's the same fucking engine as the PS1 game.
Especially because the only reason they had him skateboarding in that was to try and explain how athletic he was after getting bit by the fucking spider. Which I'm like, he was bit by a fucking spider that gave him genetic spider powers. Like, you don't have to explain.
Climbing up the fucking building ain't enough.
Like, you know, like, the moment you can stick to a wall, you're gonna be like, let me see if I can climb. Like, you don't, like...
Like, it's like the first Raimi film, like, Peter, like, you know, he fucking is, like, running up the walls in his house. And
yeah, like...
He didn't have to, like, fucking, you know, do, like, a roller derby or something.
Oh, he's listening to fucking Coldplay.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God. And fuck Coldplay. I hate Coldplay with passion.
Like,
I don't hate Coldplay, but that scene...
How are the Ducks a better band than fucking Coldplay?
But, like, you get what my point, right? Like, they're doing all this shit, and I'm like...
This ain't fucking Spider-Man. What the fuck is this shit?
What the fuck? And then the final death knell for me that when I went into first seeing this movie, was them talking about how they're gonna bring up his fucking parents.
Yeah.
I remember, because again, here's exactly how this worked. Because like you went and saw it in the theater and I didn't. Let me tell you what, because you're 21 and I'm about 2011. I'm like fucking 16 or like 14. Like I'm real young at that point. Like
I would say 16 or 15.
yeah, because like you're a year older than I am.
Yeah, it said how old I was when the first Raimi film came out.
I
I was
would've been,
12
like,
when
16 or
Spider-Man
17.
1 came out in 2000.
I was 6. So
Yeah.
anyway, saw the trailer, talked it over with my buddy. I'm like, what the fuck is this Spider-Man trailer that I'm seeing? Like where's Toby? They doing a prequel? Because that doesn't make sense because we saw the whole origin in the first movie. Like
Yeah.
what is this shit? And he's like, well, no, they're rebooting it with somebody else. I'm like, I'm not interested. Well, why not? Because it ain't Toby. Toby's Spider-Man. Fuck this shit. I don't like this.
It's either Toby.
I immediately. That's how. Like, 'cause when you're a teenager, you're fucking
Yeah.
opinionated. I was instantly like, fuck this shit. I already am not interested. Because at that point, like, I hadn't even heard people hating on Spider-Man 3 at that point.
Yeah.
I thought Spider-Man 3 was a fucking great movie. You know, like at that point, I actually liked 3 better than 2. At that point, that just shows you how fucking much of an idiot I was. But
Because
it's like I remember hearing that.
Yeah.
He went and saw it, my buddy Brian, right? And I told him, tell me how it is. I'm just not interested in going to see it.
Yeah.
He went and saw it, and he thought I remember him actually telling me that he thought it was better than any of the Raimi movies.
Oh, no.
No, and that's the thing. A lot of people said that. Did he like the Raimi films before? Like, does he like the Raimi films?
Yes, he liked the Raimi films.
Okay, because like
even now, he told me. He, honest to God, told me. We argued about this one time because for a while he thought Holland was better.
Yeah.
Then he actually told me. He came to me and told me. He's like, "Hey, man, like I thought about it over again. Like I went back and watched him.
Yeah.
You were right, honestly. Like that's the best Spider-Man movies. And I'm like, so I felt vindicated. Like behold, Colton is not a dipshit.
Because like, here's the thing. I know so many people are like, this is so much better. They didn't like Raimi, so they're like, this is infinitely better. I'm like, of course you didn't like it because you like it because you didn't like the first one.
Which I don't understand. I honest to God never got why people didn't like the Raimi movies. I never really got a solid explanation from anybody about it.
I think
I know people don't like the organic webbing, which I don't really. I'm the opposite.
Well,
I like the organic webbing.
If we're going non-comic book people, and this is probably gonna be kind of like what we just said in my previous video, it's because of the time it came out. Like because of the fact that it came out around the time where comic book movies were only starting to get good. And so like they compare them to stuff like X-Men 3, Blade Trinity, like Daredevil, like they're like, look at all this garbage that came out back then. There's no way these Raimi films hold up.
Right.
Because I know people that are like that do that. Like, because like there was a time where like because I remember this is before I stopped watching Star Trek. He did like the whole Spider-Man 2 versus Amazing 2, and I'm like, there's no way to fucking compare either of those because Amazing 2
One's a
is
fucking
shit.
train wreck, and the other one's a fucking masterpiece.
And
Yeah,
actually, it's funny you mentioned. I mean, do you have more to say, or
Because do you remember he actually kind of swayed towards Amazing 2 being better than Spider-Man 2? I'm like, what the fuck are you on?
Are you on crack?
well,
Yeah.
do you remember the one time? Because I feel dirty because I don't like Nostalgia Craig, and I think he's.
Oh yeah, you're talking about
everybody
when,
likes fucking Nostalgia Critic now.
when he panned the shit out of the Raimi film. When
Yeah,
watched
because
it with you.
I saw like
I remember you telling me he was doing that, and I was like, "Oh, good! I got more reason to fucking hate
Yeah,
his ass." Because you told me he was slamming Kirsten Dunst, my wife, and I'm like,
Yeah.
"All right,
Yeah.
now he's my fucking problem."
So yeah, because I actually So I'm gonna sum quickly with like 2020 when I started working for you guys. Colin actually he gave me like the Raimi films.
I gave you the 3-pack, and then I loaned you Amazing because I was
Yeah.
like, I told you like because you said you had never seen Spider-Man 3, you
Yeah.
had never seen either Amazing movie. I was like, okay, I'm gonna loan you 3. Well, I haven't watched the other 2 since like they came out. I'm like, I'll loan you all fucking 3.
Yeah,
And just
They
watch
were
'em.
good. I loved the Raimi films, even though 3. Yeah, it had
3's the weakest of the bunch.
Yeah.
Like him and I always say, there's a good movie in 3.
I agree with that.
It's just there's so much bloat and glut because
Exactly.
they had to get Venom in there.
And my opinion about the Amazing Ones is, of course, I'll be honest, it may be a bit skewed against it because I've heard, like, not just you guys, but a lot of people talking crap about it. Personally, it was like, the first one was like, it's not that great, it's not that bad, it's whatever.
That's how I am.
2, we'll get into that, but,
Yeah.
yeah, so, but then, of course, because I was hearing on like websites because I kind of like it's kind of like rant grumps. You know, it really Doug and people like that are fun to like hate on. So you kind of see like what it's also was around the same time with the Wall review. So I learned about the Spider-Man reviews. I'm like, even though I don't want to support his channel, I'll fucking watch them. And I was like, this is so terrible.
To be fair, he was doing that for us.
Yeah.
Because I kind of asked Doug, I'm
Because
like,
I was literally like, I ain't giving him the click.
I'm like, I personally can't, because I after the change channel thing, I can't.
Yeah.
But I'm like, Doug doesn't have that, so I'm like, you know what, Doug, I want to know what bullshit he's spewing.
Of course,
I'm gonna have to like defend if someone tries to bring that up to me.
Dislike
we wanted some advance warning.
I did dislike it, and of course I'm against him for that reason too. But so I actually showed Adam the review, and here's what my answer for that from what I don't know if he of course represents people who think this way, but people actually think the Raimi films are childish and babyish.
Yeah,
and he compared they're like the Norman Rockwell paintings.
Yeah, I remember that fucking excuse. I'm like. And then I remember that too, because people are like, "Oh, it's so much darker than the Raimi films." Which, like, do you guys remember watching those films where like Norman Osborn fucking disintegrated people into fucking skeletons,
kills the guy,
or that fucking scene with the shard of glass
MJ
that kills
getting
Rosie
abused by her dad?
Yeah, like
And
Rosie's death in Spider-Man 2,
and Sandman's even the Sandman is a tragic character.
Like,
Doc Ock's wife getting killed.
Yeah, like that was Rosie when the glass. That scene where the fucking tentacles kill all those nurses and doctors just trying to get
what fucking movies were they watching?
And then of course Amazing Spider-Man, nut attack, it's my birthday. It's like
time to blow up my candles.
Which we'll get to that fucking movie.
But like, all right, let's so you get where we're coming from.
Yeah, when I got Amazing 1 and 2, I finally told Adam, I'm like, one day, I'm gonna sit down and watch these on my day off because I've never seen them.
Well, I remember you got through Spider-Man 1. You're like, well, I didn't think it was.
Yeah, because I got the first one. I sat and watched it. I sat in. I was like, oh, I'm getting ready for fucking shit shows. What I'm getting ready for. Watched it. I'm like, okay, I think I was texting the whole time. Like,
yeah,
don't give two shits about his parents. They need to fucking stop with that shit.
Yeah.
Then I watched it, right, and I'm like, I got to the end. I'm like, I think I texted Adam. I'm like, it wasn't bad.
There's a lot of flaws.
It's pretty shit compared to what I like, but
yeah, like
overall, I could watch it again.
Yeah.
I watched both of them.
And I watched the special features, too. Like, I watched the making of and everything.
And then he got to Amazing 2.
Yeah. And I think I texted you. I was like, what the fuck is this shit?
Yeah.
I think I sent you the Bob Dylan self-portrait review. Just that clip in the beginning where it's, what the fuck is this shit?
Because when we get the Amazing Spider-Man 2, one of the other big problems is these movies are in this nebulous place in superhero cinema. Because we're getting past these movies are about singular heroes, like, in their journey.
I mean, Amazing 2 comes out right at the part where Avengers is coming.
Yeah, like, it's coming out the same time as the MCU is starting to get traction. You know, because before that, like, before Avengers, MCU was just these superhero films where we have a hint at the end that they're connected.
Right.
Come Avengers, it's all connected. So when Amazing 2 was happening, Sony, once again in their infinite wisdom, was like, we gotta make a franchise out of it. Which, again, we'll get into. But before we get into just railing on these films, let's at least talk about the shit that we think works. Just so we can say, yes, we are fair.
Let me go first, because as the newest comer to watching these, besides Doug, I think I got a couple things.
That's fair.
I've thought about this a while. So, I like Andrew Garfield.
I do too.
I think the writing is what does him the dirtiest thing with both movies, especially the second one.
Most assuredly.
Yeah, like, I think that, like, growing up, I didn't like him because he was Toby's replacement. I fucking didn't like that. Like, watching interviews with him where he talks about it, like, and, like, just, the guy genuinely cared.
Yeah.
You know, and, like, I watched interviews where he was talking about, like, I'm not trying to replace Tobey Maguire. He is Spider-Man. I'm just doing something different. I'm like, okay, cool. You didn't go into it being like, no, I'm Spider-Man.
No, like, I remember I saw, like, a comic convention where he ripped his shirt off. He's like, I love Spider-Man. He even goes into, like, how much he loves the character and why he wanted to do
that kind of stuff. I'm like, okay, cool. You're not fully yourself. You're not like, flaunting it.
Right.
I'm like, okay. And I knew that prior to going in. I'm like, okay, I dig this.
Yeah.
You're pretty down to earth. You seem like a pretty chill guy.
And to be fair, I like him as, like, Ultimate Peter. Like, I think he works as, like,
I think if there was
Peter
some stronger writing, he would have been a great Peter.
Yeah.
I think as it is, there's the bare bones of a good performance
and
there.
And he's funny as fuck as Spider-Man. Like, he's
good.
He's really funny.
And, like, I think he looks a lot like Peter. It's like
Yeah.
I like that.
Like I still laugh at the knife scene. Oh, small knives, my only weakness.
That's funny as hell.
Right,
dude.
yeah.
Like,
While it's not as good as what we got in Raimi, I like Martin Sheen as Uncle Ben.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
Martin Sheen is great
Martin
as
Sheen
Uncle Ben.
knocks it out of the fucking park.
Like I actually still
I wish
love-
they would have just let him say the fucking line.
Yeah,
And
instead of
also-
just hinting at the line. But like, I really love that scene where he, he's looking for Peter because he knows Peter's upset,
Right.
and he keeps calling him on the phone, hoping he'll pick up. And when he finally doesn't get, like, he just decides, you know what, he's not gonna answer, so I'm just gonna tell him in the message, so that when he eventually looks at the answer machine,
Right.
he'll at least know. Like, I love that scene where he's just like, like, I know you're going through some stuff, Peter. I'm not even upset with you. I'm just worried about you. Just come home and we'll talk. Because I know you're a good kid, Pete. You're just going through something. Like, I still love that scene. Even the part where Peter eventually, after Uncle Ben dies, and he picks up the phone, and I'm like, that was a really emotional and well done.
And Garfield plays it great.
Yeah, like, and they both play each other really well. Like, I like the part where Peter does get into trouble with a fight at the school, and he actually backs Peter up. Like, my boy wouldn't have done that if he got pushed.
Yeah.
Like, I actually like that he defended Peter instead of just...
Yeah.
Because, like, I like the Uncle Ben in the Raimi films, but let's be honest, he's not really a character in the Raimi films. He's just there to die.
He's there to get
Well,
shot.
he's a function. Like,
Yeah.
Now, what else do I like? The costume has grown on me.
Yeah, actually, I would agree
It's
with
grown
you.
on me. I still don't think it's the best thing since sliced bread,
Yeah.
but I can live with it.
Well, I like it because it reminds me a lot of Ben Reilly's costume, which I think was what
Yeah.
they were going for.
What else do I like?
I liked the lady who played Aunt May.
Oh,
Yeah.
Sally Field.
Yeah, Sally Field was great as Aunt May.
I think probably the best... The thing I like most about these movies is Emma Stone as Gwen
Yeah.
Stacy.
Oh my god, Emma Stone is amazing as Gwen. Like,
I think-
she does such a great job.
I think she pulls Gwen off really, really good. I think she also could have pulled off Mary Jane, which I read somewhere. She actually, when she auditioned, she thought she was getting called to audition for Mary Jane.
But sadly, that was yet another thing that they were like, we have to change it. We can't do Mary Jane again. We have to do Gwen because we're trying to be different.
And then they tried to bring Mary Jane in for the next one, which they ended up cutting out.
Yeah. Which,
And they've never released that footage, by the way. It's never even been leaked.
yeah. Not even when North Korea hacked into their system.
Which we got the emails about Amazing 3, which we'll get into at the end of the video.
Yeah.
'Cause I know a little bit
Because I would
about
like to
that.
talk about what could have been, but
So I just had a couple of things about what I liked about them. Pretty much what you guys have said, I pretty much agree. And like the first one, in parts, even elements of the second one, the first one's an alright film.
yeah.
And of course, like one thing I did like about the second film is that I really thought that the guy who played Harry Harry,
Like,
like,
what is it, Dane DeFon or
Yeah.
something?
okay,
He does okay.
I mean, I think
I
it
don't
was-
like him as much as Franco.
I mean,
have
yeah, I
to
like
agree
Franco's
with you.
better.
I
Franco's
definitely
better.
think James Franco does better.
But I think it was terrible. It wasn't that bad.
I will admit, I think he looks more like what I envision Harry than James Franco, but that's just because
I think Franco pulls.
But Franco pulls
Harry
off
better.
the character better, at least in terms of
Yeah,
personality.
actually, even going to the first one, I also thought, okay, before Blizzard part, I thought the professor,
Dr.
Kurt
Connors.
Connors?
Yeah, I
Oh
thought
yeah,
he
no,
was good.
he does a stellar job as Kurt.
Yeah, I actually thought like his progression of becoming why he does it. It was like he's
My only real complaints with Kurt in any of these movies is why can't we not have his wife and Billy? Because they're like so important to his character.
right.
Yeah.
And then my last thing is
Kurt's part of my central
in
complaint.
2, I'll give him this.
Yeah.
I think that Jamie Foxx's as Electro, it's great when he gets out of prison or even in the prison. I think that. Because you actually can see like him being a threatening character. Like he actually could be a good actor. Like if they actually written that character well.
It's kind of like Garfield. The writing bogs.
The
it.
writing, yeah, like
Yeah.
there's so many like, because like I love Uncle Ben, but the part where he sees a dude with a gun, not even like brandishing
Yeah,
it, or like, and he just screams "God!" and then I'm like, well,
Yeah.
you're not even like a tragic victim. That was
Yeah.
your own fucking
No,
fault, you
that was-
dipshit.
And then of course with like I think Jamie Foxx could have done a great job on Electro.
Yeah.
But holy shit, we'll get to that. But let's just say it's pretty much ruined by the writing, especially
Yeah.
the beginning part.
Yeah.
So
To say nothing of what they do to Rhino.
Oh,
So
my,
let's-
yeah.
Kind of to tack on to your Aunt May thing, because I think after that we can get into our complaints, because I think
Okay.
we've covered the good. One of my favorite scenes in the first movie is near the end, where Gwen shows up, and asks why Peter wasn't at spoiler at Captain Stacy's
Stacey's
funeral. And
but you're a
have
Spider-Man
that-
person. You know he dies.
You have that scene with Aunt May and Peter, and Peter mentions like I'm no good for her.
Yeah.
And May kind of just like slams that line of thinking down, especially quick. Like that, to me, that was actual Aunt May. That was legitimately.
That was actually Aunt
That
May.
is something Aunt May would have done.
Yeah. Especially if you're going by Ultimate. Ultimate Aunt May would have been like,
What the fuck are you talking about?
what are you talking about, Peter?
Yes, okay.
Like,
Sorry, go ahead.
no,
Reese.
I was just, like you said, that's really well done.
Yeah, so let's move on into our complaints.
All right, let's start with Spider Amazing 1.
Yeah, we're gonna do Amazing. We're gonna cover Amazing 1, then we'll get into 2.
Yeah,
Like you said, I like things about Amazing 1.
There's a good movie in there.
There's a good movie in there. A lot of the problems is, as much as I like Kurt Connors, the Lizard is so...
The fucking design
Lame.
is the dumbest
Yeah.
thing I've ever fucking seen.
Not only is it lame, because you don't have Billy or his wife, all his plot is
Turn people into lizards.
to turn people into lizards. Like, you don't have any of the pathos that makes Kurt such a great character. Like, despite the fact the lizard's kind of lame. Like, what makes Kurt such a great character is because he doesn't want to be the lizard.
Yeah.
He's trying to not be the character. It gives this great Dr. Jekyll Hyde thing. And Spider-Man, it also works with Spider-Man because he's like, I have to stop the lizard, but I don't want to hurt him because I don't want to hurt Kurt
And his family.
and his family.
Yeah.
And not only that, but like the fact that Billy and his wife are this emotional anchor that keeps him from becoming the lizard.
Right. Like his last last tie to humanity.
Yeah. And there's none of that with this character. And I think that really does hurt the lizard as a character because, like, outside of, like, wanting Peter because, like, he thinks that, like, Peter's mutations would be helpful to him in his experiments.
Right.
It comes off as lame. And not only that, they try to get around it by having him be tied to Peter's parents.
Ugh.
Which, let's save the parents for the last complaint.
The parents
because
is
the parents is my biggest.
The parents
complaint.
overall has to go with 2 anyway, just because I think the problems really are there more with Peter's parents.
And also, like, his idea is, like, the lizard's main thing is, lizards are superior, that it's okay. You know what, the whole, like, Jekyll Hyde thing, like, if there was, like, a more struggle with that, like, Kurt, like, I don't want to be this, like, if he's, like, regretful, but no, in the, like, that video that they show, he's like, no, this is the way to go. It's like, yeah, you don't have that you don't have that tension, that pathos, so it's like, okay, now he's just a monster, we gotta fight, okay.
Captain Stacy is like,
oh my god,
boring.
Just that actor in fucking Rescue
Dennis
Me.
Leary.
Yeah,
Dennis
Leary.
It's just Dennis Leary playing fucking Dennis Leary.
Also, he's kind of a piece of shit. Like
he honestly, he is nothing like how Captain Stacy is in the comics.
Well, yeah, especially because like Captain Stacy actually approved of Spider-Man. Like he actually was like, I wish he wasn't a vigilante, but he does good work.
When he dies in the comics, he reveals to Peter, like, I've known you've been Spider-Man for a while. I haven't said anything.
Just please take care of Gwen. This one's like, you're gonna get Gwen killed. I need you to stay away from her. I'm like, fucking why? What, like you literally just say that because, like, oh, in the comic she dies, so we have to set that up, I guess.
As a warning, like, ominous thing, ominous.
Which gets worse because in 2, then he just is just there like Ghost Dad. I'm disappointed in you, Peter, because I'm Ghost Dad.
How much?
I'm Ghost Dad.
And, you know, I bet you got paid a lot of money, Dennis Leary, just for fucking that.
Like it. Yeah, like Dennis Leary is so bad in these movies because he's every cop in every superhero film that thinks the hero is a menace.
He's like Jameson without the charm, or
honestly, yeah. A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I hate that fucking scene where Peter comes to dinner.
Yeah, that was so stupid.
Can't?
Like,
I'm like, yeah, dude, because obviously you guys can't do your fucking job.
Yeah, I'm like...
It's like expecting me to believe in the cops in Gotham.
Yeah.
There ain't no fucking reason for me to.
You gotta have...
like that, like, you guys have clearly shown no capability in stopping the lizard up to this point.
Now, why the fuck would I believe in you?
Yeah, like...
Because Law and Order, that's why. Oh, and by the way, there was something that really bothered me in the scene where Peter is trying to tell Captain Stacy, you gotta look up Connors, alright? He's related to the lizard attacks, and Stacy's like, Get out, you're crazy, kid. And then
I'm like, I don't
after
think
that,
a cop would actually do that. Like, a cop would at least be like, okay, let's
Yeah.
look into it to humor
here's the
him.
thing, like even with that, like him be like, yeah, you crazy asshole. He's in like, okay, go look up this Congress guy. It's like, okay, so you dismiss him, but then you're gonna check on him. Like, what's the reason? Like, if he was like you, like, okay, look, as my job, I will do it. Like that would at least been understandable. But no, it's like no, just because of plot, do this.
Because he doesn't want Peter around Gwen for some odd ass fucking reason.
Because dads, we can't have them.
Basically.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the cringe-inducing subway scene.
Oh yeah, I know which one.
Oh,
you're
you mean
talking about.
wait?
When I'm watching, I'm like literally. Let me show you what happened. The scene where the woman's clothes accidentally get ripped off. This is me.
Oh
sitting-
Oh, yeah, okay, I know what you're talking about.
that was
This
so
is me
bad.
watching that. Like,
Ugh.
why?
Yeah, no.
Why
like,
is that
that does
necessary?
not age well.
That's not even fucking funny.
No, it really wasn't. I was like, oh
I'm like,
god,
who
we're doing
the
this
fuck
again.
at Sony has said that was a good idea?
That's like something from like a scary or like a parody, like a
Like, yeah,
Yeah.
superhero movie.
I'm already sitting there like, who the fuck approved that?
yeah, like
What, they think they were fucking funny?
that, and like the fact that like we had to see him like climbing around the fucking poles when he's fighting those dudes in the subway. Like I'm like, that's cool, I guess.
Right.
But, like it doesn't really show off his abilities that well. I'm like, because any asshole that's done parkour could do that shit.
Yeah.
Like fuck a pole dancer could do that shit probably better than Peter.
I thought of one more positive. I like the Flash Thompson in this.
Oh yeah, the Flash Thompson in this is actually
Because
really
there's
well
some
done.
actual character development.
Yeah,
in
he
that.
actually is
Granted,
like a
there's
person.
some in the Raimi films, but it's really background,
Yeah,
and they don't really address
Yeah,
it.
like,
He disappears out of the first movie.
Yeah,
he
I
shows
heard
up at Harry's funeral in the third one.
Yeah, I actually do like where he like because like when he after Uncle Ben dies, I'm like, oh, here we go. He's gonna just be a generic
Yeah.
bully. He's like, oh, I'm sorry to hear about that, man. Dad suck. You know, like he tries to relate to Peter because like his dad was a piece of shit that ran out on his family, and he's just like, Well, I'm like,
But and then Peter like flips out and like has him against the lockers, and he's like, it feels good, doesn't it? Like,
yeah,
he's not mad. He's just like, I get it.
yeah, like like it's like
That's why like he just like that scene where like he just keeps saying I'm sorry, and like Peter like just slowly like lets him down.
yeah, like that did work really well because I was actually blown away that they decided to give Flash
Same
character.
here. I thought
Because like especially because like the Flash in the Raimi films is
I wouldn't want to fight me.
me neither. I'm like,
Jesus, Parker, you are a freak.
yeah, no. So like I was blown away because I'm like, but then he doesn't show up after the first film, so I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, okay. I'm glad we got that out of the way.
Yeah.
Can I say something quickly that you said about like what you were talking about Kevin Spacey? I don't like about the Amazing films. No fucking Jameson. No fucking.
Listen, if they weren't gonna
Simmons.
get fucking Simmons to come back, don't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, then because again, they're like,
I mean that's good. At least they didn't do that. Like replace Simmons.
but like Doug, that's another thing that they're like, we're doing different. He doesn't work at the paper.
Ugh.
He's just a science nerd. We're not even gonna have him get to college. Like we're doing it different. So that means no Jameson, no Brandt, no Betty Brandt, none of the shit that makes Spider-Man Spider-Man. Like legitimately, that was one of they were trying to push themselves away from the Raimi
Yeah.
films.
And then they wondered why it made less money.
Yeah, because like you took because you had it right the first time.
It's like new Coke. Like
Yeah.
people don't like the old Coke. Let's change everything about it.
Yeah, like that. It really was that. Probably the scene that I always talk about, and I know we're kind of going all over the place with this movie, but like the scene
There's
I
a lot
always,
to cover
the
about
scene
why
that-
we don't like these movies.
Probably one of the worst fucking scenes in this whole film that I will always fucking talk about. The fucking cranes.
I want to talk about the fucking
Oh,
crane
you mean
dad.
when the
Now they
the
reference
guy-
that shit in the game. I'm like, no, don't
No,
be bringing this up.
You mean
Because everything about that scene makes no fucking sense. Okay. So early on in the film, when the lizard's rampaging across the bridge, Spider-Man
Yeah.
rescues a bunch of cars, which I actually like that scene because
That was good,
it was
yeah.
actually a cool scene. We got to see Spider-Man rescue a bunch of people.
And
like-
not just that, but with the kid, he was like actually like being like he was not rescuing.
yeah, and like he took the mask off. He's like, "Look, kid, I'm just like you."
It's an emotional touch. He was like like trying to actually comfort somebody in a crisis. Not
Granted,
just,
the part where he's like, when the dad's like, "Who are you?" and he's just like, "I'm Spider-Man." I'm like,
yeah.
okay, like it didn't really feel nearly as good as like when like
But that was,
yeah, it's not like on Batman or like how like it worked out in like the Raimi films where he doesn't actually name himself.
Oh.
He leaves that card that says "Courtesy of your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man," which fits so well with the character because Peter does do that. He will leave notes that says "Courtesy of your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man."
right.
And after he does that, they literally have it so that Peter's chasing the Lizard to Oscorp.
Yeah.
He gets hit by one of the weird electric bullets that the police just have.
Yeah.
Because I only say that because like the police in this have had normal weapons and shit up until that point.
Right.
And then they pull out these electric slug rounds, which I'm like, what the fuck are those? And so Peter gets really badly hurt, but he's like halfway to Oscorp. So he's like up on a building at least, so the cops aren't going to get to him for a couple minutes.
Right.
He's like, I gotta get going. Oh, but my leg is hurt, so I can't swing. For some reason, my leg being shot means I can't swing. And also,
I can kind of understand that from this point of view. When you're on a set of monkey bars, you're using your whole body.
Well,
I can understand that.
Just hold on.
That part I get. The crane thing is still fucking stupid.
Granted, I do agree with you, but like it, yeah. So, and then the other thing is, I have nothing to swing to except that they frame this shot with Oscorp in it. You can see all these fucking buildings he can swing on.
Yeah, well, I thought the building. I didn't even think about that. No.
So, as this is going on, I think at this point the Lizard has like started spewing the chemicals out that are turning people into lizards.
Yeah.
I know he turns a couple cops into lizard creatures.
Like 5 people or something.
So the news is like, what can Spider-Man do? Meanwhile, at this random construction company, who knows where, the dude from the Spidey rescued his kid is watching this on TV, and he's like,
convenient.
Do you know the guy on 32nd Street? Tell him to swing his crane. Like, why would I tell him that? Spidey saved my kid. And so apparently, Crane Dad has like either all the other Crane Dad's phone numbers, or he had like some sort of button that he slammed, like it's the fucking bat signal or the fucking the bat phone. He slams to get all the crane operators in New York, who all just happen to be on the same fucking street.
And working that late?
Well, to be fair, apparently crane guys do operate that late at night.
Okay, fine.
In case accidents happen.
But no, them all being in that area doesn't make any sense, because they would only have like 2. I've seen fucking pictures of building sites.
Yeah.
I mean, there always are. There's like 2 or 3.
Yeah.
4 tops.
Like, there's like 7 or 8 fucking
I'm like,
cranes.
where the fuck's there so many? They working on the whole fucking block?
Right.
And so, I expected after that when he's fighting Lizard on top of the building, Peter be like, I can't fight no more. All of a sudden you see Crane Dad on a crane going, Spidey! And he just slams the Lizard with this crane.
That would have been fucking hilarious.
I-beam.
The Amazing Crane Dad.
Well, because the sad part is and then Peter tries to swing and he almost falls and misses.
Of course.
But I'm like, fucking God. And it still doesn't fix the fact that he's still got a bullet in his leg.
Yeah.
It's just, which they fucking ignore the whole last battle. Where the fuck's the bullet?
That was what I was trying to explain, Coleman. It was like after this.
No, I get it. I thought you were going in a different direction. That's why I was like, you can kind of need your whole body to swing. I don't understand.
I get that, but
the rest of this shit don't make no sense.
And the worst part is, you know how you could have done Crane Dad if you wanted to have some ordinary person help Peter out?
Wow.
You make him a fucking EMT.
Yeah.
Because they work that late at night. He could easily get to Peter. He could patch the bullet wound up.
And drive him there. That would have been much better. But no, you got really to the working class, man.
And that gets me pissed off because people are like, that was one of the things that they were like, the Raimi films aren't going to be all American-y and you mess with one of us, you mess with all of us. It's going to be dark and real and gritty. What the fuck was that?
Exactly.
Yeah, that shit was actually
that was more cringe than this. Because people are like,
now Adam's breaking shit because he's actually still mad.
I just have to pop up. Because people were tell me, but that's better than the bridge scene from Spider-Man 1 where the New Yorker.
Bullshit.
That makes more logistic sense because they're watching the Goblin blow up this fucking bridge.
Not mention there's fucking cops already there.
The Goblin
there's a bunch of people there watching.
Yeah,
Why the fuck wouldn't all of them have instantly
And the
grab
government's already
shit?
shown to attack
because
people.
It makes more sense to be like, oh my god, he's trying to hurt these kids while Spidey's trying to rescue them?
Yeah.
Wait a minute, I got some shit in my hands. Let's just start throwing shit at him.
Yeah.
We'll distract him so Spidey can rescue these kids.
That makes more sense than fucking the crane dad shit.
Yeah.
And not only that took place after 9/11.
Yeah.
That was because, you mess with one of us, you mess with all
That
of
whole
us.
unity, that was everywhere
It's not
back then.
jingoistic.
Hell. Well,
For the most
No,
part.
that scene.
yeah, no. I think the scene, the scene with on the subway in 2, I still think kind of works because they're just like, they see him without the
That's
mask
what
on,
I'm
and
saying.
they're just like,
It's communal. Like,
not only that, but I like that because they he saved them, and then they're just like,
I can relate.
he's just a kid.
I relate.
He barely looks older than my son.
I relate that to the scene in the spoiler alert for anybody who hasn't played PS5 Miles Morales, the game, man. There's a scene near the end where Miles doesn't have his mask on, and these guys that were watching like this final fight, like the fucking reporters show up because they instantly are showing up. They actually block all the reporters from getting there so Miles can put his mask back on and leave.
Yeah.
And so all these reporters like, oh, you saw him without his mask. Who is he? That guy. He's our Spider-Man.
It works really well.
That's how that kind of a scene works.
Well, he's welcomed by everybody.
And you need those scenes because he's the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Right.
You can't be Spider-Man without the friendly neighborhood.
The everyman helping Spidey out is because Spidey's the everyman.
Yeah.
But the crane scene's
That was how Jack Kirby and Lee set it up.
Yeah.
The crane scene sounds like it's just too
Well, him and
convenient.
Ditko, more like.
Yeah, Ditko.
It's too convenient. It's like everything has to be in this right fucking condition at its time. It's like, no, it's like...
Even my best friend, who I've known since childhood when we watched this movie, he was pretty okay with this movie. We get to the crane scene, he's just he turns to me, he's like, Adam, what the fuck was that? And even I'm like, I don't fucking know. I expected the crane dad shit to show up in Infinity War. I expected him to come out of that portal with a crane.
He becomes a sidekick to Spider-Man.
I thought he was going to end up becoming one of the characters from the Wrecking Crew.
On your
He
left.
stops
On your left. On your left. What?
Fucking crane
Very
shot
end,
hits
he helps
Thanos.
stop. He stops.
I happen to be an American. That's America's ass. You fuck him up, cat.
Somebody, can we get a photo? Can we get a Photoshop of that coming through the portal, please? Please forward that. Post it down in the comments.
But you get what my point was.
Yeah.
People were talking about how much better this movie was because it didn't have that crap, and I'm like, what the fuck was the crane dad scene then?
Yeah.
Because the crane dad scene is fucking awful. Literally fucking awful.
Yeah.
Another thing that's fucking awful. How obvious the lizard's plan is. When they show the fucking, chemical gun that can shoot chemicals in a 3,000-mile radius?
Wonder why you would show that,
that?
if it ain't gonna come back later.
And not only that, it's a terrorist weapon. Where the fuck would you just keep it in glass?
It's like Chekhov's gun, but without the celery.
Am I crazy? I feel like I'm taking crazy pills here.
You need to breathe.
Pretty much that scene is like, Chekhov's gun where it's like, oh, we're going to use this gun later. That's what pretty much the film was saying. It's like, oh, this is going to be used later. It's obvious.
Like having a nuke on display and be like, break only in event of nuclear war.
For fuck's sake, do you know if the Taliban got their hands on that? They could have just loaded it with anthrax
But it's
and then,
Oscorp.
shot it into a town?
But Oscorp can't be infiltrated, especially by a high schooler like Peter.
And then they also at the time, they did the web shooters, and credit where credit's due, it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Right.
Because, one of the reasons I actually praise the organic webbing in the Raimi films is we don't need half this movie being him inventing those fucking web shooters.
Right.
That's why I like the organic web fluid in Raimi, because I'm like, we don't need to see him make every single... Because, one of the things I hate about Batman Begins is we have to see every single fucking step of him building that fucking Batcave. I don't need to see him build the Batcave. He's a billionaire. I get how he's able to build it so easily.
Well, you gotta remember what Nolan thinks. Nolan thinks we're all a bunch of fucking idiots and we
I
need to
know.
be shown everything.
Because credit where credit's due.
It's
Real.
I don't
It's
care.
realistic.
Fuck Christopher Nolan. Fuck all his movies. He's a shit director. I don't fucking care.
But credit where credit's due. I like that they show the lock that Peter has on his room to show that he is really good at making little gadgets and shit. I don't mind that. That worked really well. It's much better than the I'm a skater boy, so I said see you later boy bullshit with him as this.
I was actually just about to
Just
reference that. If
skating
you didn't take it, I was going to.
Because he looks like one of the things that I can't tolerate about the way he looks is he looks like such a fucking high school emo git with the skateboard and the fucking hair and the fucking way he dresses. But then we have to get the fact he doesn't make the web fluid. He can make the web shooters, but he can't make the fluid. It's Oscorp. And here's why they're making the web fluid. They genetically altered spiders to make super strong webbing that can pull jets.
Right.
To be like, I guess, biodegradable.
Environmentally friendly, I guess? I don't know.
Why the fuck do you need to make spiders for that?
Right.
You can just invent an organic polymer.
Yeah, just
Like
isolate the polymers, the molecules.
Like you can just make a polymer that's biodegradable and strong enough to pull a jet.
But
you don't need to genetically alter spiders.
But it's cool.
Because what's going to happen is some dipshit teenager is going to get into this, what's supposed to be a secure lab.
Yeah, he fucking gets in easily.
He gets into it about as well as like a fucking frat girl at a kegger.
Right.
And then all of a sudden he's covered in spiders and he gets bit.
Alright, anyway.
And he buys the web fluid from them too.
We're already on almost an hour.
No,
Let's get to the second movie.
He's getting as mad as Burr.
No, you're Val. You're Val.
But we have to at least do two more things we have to talk about.
Oh, yeah.
The fact that how Connors finds out who Peter is.
Oh, yeah, the camera.
Because he fucking...
Oh my god, that's dumb as fuck.
Although, to be fair, that fight scene was really great where, like, Stan Lee's in the background as they're
Right,
fighting, and Peter has to save him.
Yeah.
But the other is the fact that Peter is a creep in this movie.
Yeah.
Because he's taking pictures of Gwen without permission and putting them up as his fucking cell phone paper.
Yeah. Uncle Ben. Oh, is that girl you like?
Oh, and then you got that Alfred Hitchcock from a Rear Window.
yeah, which I'm
like, that is actually fucking creepy.
Yeah, that's not
heroic.
Like, there's no defending that. I'm sorry, that is actually fucking creepy.
So, like, I hope
that is like simp territory.
I think this film.
Oh, they could have got Riley as Peter.
I think this film's
pay for
tone
that movie.
definitely comes to, you know.
Yeah, I think that is really... Because, like, there's things I do like about it. Like, I like that he kind of comes up with the costume after falling to that boxing ring and sees, like,
Yeah.
the luchador mask. I like how they show that, like, he starts out with, like, a very basic suit and works his way up.
Yeah.
But, like, there's stuff that just frustrates the shit out of me. Especially the ending when he finally gets back together with Gwen.
Right.
Because, like, you know, you need to learn to keep your promises, Peter. You know, the best promises are the ones that can be broken. I'm like, that is not Peter Parker.
Yeah.
Like, his whole promise to Uncle Ben was if he had great power, he would have great responsibility. That is why he uses that line, because that is a promise he made to his Uncle Ben.
Right.
It's about us up there as having Peter make a deal with the fucking devil in things Spider-Man should not do.
We're gonna get to another topic we shouldn't get into.
But
We're not ever gonna fucking deal with one more day. I don't care.
But let's get into two, or as I like to call it, set up for a fucking Sinister Six movie.
Wait, can I just say? Oh, God damn! I just had one thing. Oh, the dialogue. Like, did you kind of got annoyed with the whole like we're quirky and awkward with Gwen and Peter? Like,
Oh my god.
Yeah, that does get a little grating after a while. As much as I like,
the awkwardness. I'm like, guys, come on.
you couldn't have picked a better hiding spot. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't pick the Hawaii of hiding places. I'm like,
we don't need a sitcom level bullshit.
yeah. Like,
Yes. Anyway, 2.
Yeah.
Whereas 1, I was like, you know what, I could watch this again. 2, I'm like, why? I ain't watching this again.
no, fair.
Yeah.
There are certain things I like about that movie. I think the choreography in that movie,
Oh yeah,
fucking
the action's
beautiful.
great in that movie.
Yeah.
The action's
Very,
really
very,
great in that movie.
very beautifully done. Looks great.
Right.
The new suit, I like it. It looks more comic book like. It looks
Oh, yeah.
great. It's basically the Raimi
Raimi
suit with
suit, yeah.
bigger eyepieces.
Right.
Looks great.
I
like
actually
it.
kind of like the eyepieces more for that one than the Rainy, just because I'm always a stickler for the really big. I like Peter to have some.
Yeah,
big
I like
eyepieces.
I like the angled ones or the Raimi ones.
Well, I don't mind them angled, but like I like them.
Yeah.
I like them big.
Well, so anyway, that might be it because I don't.
Yeah, no, because
Fucking
no,
like
I
this
can't blame you
movie.
because this movie sucks ass.
I don't understand how people defend this movie.
Oh, by the way, when I watched this film, I was I drank a couple drinks for the first one. Then I'm like, oh, I got.
Doug was shit faced by the end.
Yeah,
of the
no,
second one.
Doug stopped making mixed drinks. He just picked up a whole thing of Jack and just started chugging.
Scotch, but yeah.
So let's. What do you guys like about this movie?
Pretty much what you said.
Did we cover all of it?
My other thing was I thought Jamie. I already said like the guy who played Harry, not as good as Franco, but all right. And I thought that Jamie Foxx could have done a good Electro like in the later half. He had potential, but we'll get into what happened.
And
there.
oh my fucking god! Once again, Oscorp. We're trying to use electric eels to make
that was so
power
stupid.
source.
Yeah.
They're in open vats. He just falls into an open vat of electric eels. It's almost worse than Max Dillon's actual origin in the Spider-Man comics, where he's a power pole technician and he just gets struck by a bolt of fucking lightning.
Okay.
And just suddenly has superpowers.
I think I'd rather have that though than the.
I would rather have that.
It's like, okay, eels that you have feed, and how much money goes into fucking making them? It's like...
Alright, so we are on the negatives right now.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
We got nothing else.
Oh my god. And this is more so going to be for the casual fans, okay?
Yeah.
If I offend you with this comment, I am sorry. But I'm going to say this right now. My biggest annoyance with this fucking movie was I saw the trailer, okay? I saw what Gwen was wearing in it. And I'm like, Gwen is gonna fucking die. Well, you don't know that.
Seriously, people said that?
It's in the fucking comics. Read a fucking book. Look it up on fucking Google.
Wait, was Green Goblin like obvious in the trailer too? Like he was gonna...
No,
I don't remember
No, they
that.
didn't show. They actually.
I
the
just
Goblin
remember.
didn't really become
I
a thing
remember
until
seeing
later.
that outfit, and I remember thinking, I've seen that outfit.
Well, no,
Where
that-
have I seen that outfit?
Well, that in the
So I
trailer
went back and
has
looked.
her falling. We
Yeah.
actually have her falling.
I remember seeing that. I'm being like, they're gonna die. Well, you don't know that. I fucking know that because I'm not a dipshit. And why would they show it if they weren't gonna kill her?
Yeah.
Right.
They wouldn't dress her in that. That's the iconic thing she was wearing when she died.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, the movie happened. Oh my god, I didn't think they would kill Gwen. Because you can't fucking read.
Yeah.
Oh my fucking god, it was obvious as fuck.
Yeah. Which
That annoys the fuck out of me.
Which, to be honest, I
when
actually.
nobody wants to just look shit up.
Yeah.
But that's the thing.
And then they get mad when people say, this is gonna happen. Well, you don't know.
They want...
I do know. You just don't want to fucking listen.
Right. Yeah.
Ah!
Yeah. To be fair, I didn't really want her. I didn't
knew
want
she
to
was dead either, but I just knew they were gonna do it.
I knew that.
Yeah.
Like, I hated that because I'm like, fucking why? We don't need us. We don't have to follow the comics word for
Oh my
word.
god, and the death is more brutal in the movie.
Oh my god, the death is so much more brutal.
The death scene, like, I found a gif of it where it's slowed down. Like, it's more brutal than the
'cause, like-
comic is.
Like,
Yeah.
and I also kind of like the
If her spine wasn't broke, she had fucking brain damage,
Yeah.
and after that, I know that.
that and the fucking web strand turning into a hand. I'm like, oh my fucking
Yeah.
god.
Yeah.
Like that was so artsy. I was like,
Artsy.
why? Like you don't need to fucking do that. He's already.
Well, we gotta make it more obvious for the viewers.
Okay,
The fact that this movie is just a setup for a Sinister Six film.
yeah,
Yeah.
And
that,
not even Spider-Man fighting the Sinister Six, because Sony revealed they wanted to do a heroic Sinister Six film where they're the good guys.
What?
Despite the fact that their name is the Sinister Six.
I got another one, going back to Gwen.
Yeah.
How much they dumb her fucking character down in this
I
movie.
mean, where she almost touches an electric fucking...
Yeah, that, like,
Yeah.
in the first movie, they showed she was pretty fucking intelligent. I'm like,
Yeah,
awesome.
She makes the antidote for the lizards.
Yes. And then it gets to the second one, and they just dumb her down to
Yeah.
a point where I'm like, why? I know it's because they just wanted to kill her off, and they needed to get her there, but at the same time, I'm just like...
Which is annoying because she's the fucking valedictorian at their graduation.
She doesn't
Right.
fucking act like it in this movie.
No, she
like,
really fucking doesn't.
Like, I'm not saying, like, people that are, like, highly intelligent, they're smart 24/7, because
Yeah.
they're not, but...
She calls him Peter while he's in the mask.
Yeah, I'm just
She
like...
shouts it.
The thing with the railing is what gets me, because I'm like,
No.
Gwen, you're a fucking science major. How do you not know? I'm absolutely stupid at science, and I know that.
Like, oh my god. Like, they really like, and then
Completely dumb her
they're
down.
doing the will they won't they shit again. I'm like, you already did that in the first film.
We gotta bring back.
Why we gotta rehash this?
Like, like
Captain
They don't
Stacy.
even do it well like Spider-Man 2 does, because
Yeah.
Spider-Man 2 actually does it well.
yeah, like for as many jokes as I make about the gaslighting thing, at least there's reason there. Here it's we got back together in one, and we kind of fall because Gwen doesn't wants to I guess go away and be smart.
Go off to England, which
Go off to
granted that
England.
was what happened in the comics, so I'll give him that.
Oh, the fact that he makes that web message to her, which I'm like,
Oh
you
my
fucking just
God.
you fucking just told everybody who the fuck you were.
Right.
You dumb fucker.
Um,
Like what part of secret identity did you not fucking get?
And that-
The identity part or the secret part? Because there's not that much to figure out.
I won't give you my blood.
Oh my God.
Oh, that scene.
No.
Listen, that scene is frustrating because that scene is purely there to set up why Harry doesn't like Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Right.
Whereas, like, the Spider-Man I know would say, look, I get you need my blood.
But
I can't just give it to you. Let's find a way to work this out.
Or at least-
he wouldn't just flat out say, I ain't fucking
Or
doing
at least
it.
let's test my blood to see if this will actually work.
Yeah.
Like, he just flat out says no. And I know some people...
And then he wonders why Harry's mad at him.
Yeah, which
Right.
they're like, well, that was how they were when they were fighting when he was the god. I'm like, that took years to get to, though. You can't just turn it
Yeah.
on like a fucking switch.
Yeah, there was a lot of build-up, and there was a lot of shit that went on to get it to that point.
That and the
Right.
fucking disease him and Norman have is so just
It's generic.
generic. It's turning me into a fucking monster disease.
Right.
And the costume for the
Oh,
the
no, that
goblin
was
sucked
just
so
fucking
much.
Yeah.
I wasn't even a fan of the new Goblin shit from Spider-Man 3.
I mean, the paintball.
oh my god, that looked amazing.
Yeah,
compared to
no,
this.
I would have taken that back. I actually, after I watched that scene, I went home and I pulled out my Spider-Man 3 DVD. I'm like, I'm sorry, Spider-Man 3. I'm sorry, you were right. I you know what? I was wrong. You didn't hurt me nearly as bad. Can we get back together, baby? I promise this time I'll do right by you.
like just.
Oh no.
Oh my god.
The fact that they didn't know what to do with Electro, because he's clearly just
Oh god.
he's clearly just shoehorned into this because they didn't want more.
Just leave it on the floor. We're gonna keep knocking it down.
Sorry.
And oh god.
Because clearly this movie was supposed to be about the Goblin,
right.
but then they're like, no, we already did that. We're trying to be different.
we need a new villain.
We need a new villain. Let's just throw Electro in here. And he's so generic because he starts out like Selena Kyle from Batman Returns,
Right.
being like homely looking and goofy, and then
Oh, God.
and then he gets him and the hero stands up for them, and then he doesn't come to his birthday.
Well, that's the thing. Is that okay? Colin, would you say they were trying to do like a taxi driver, he's
I guess, but
he was so
God,
goofy though.
they
oh, by the way,
fucking- they
this was
fucking
darker
fail
for
at it.
adults. Yeah, and
No.
he had this fucking goofy ass
yeah,
music.
they fail at it so fucking bad.
Or the fact that he plays Itsy Bitsy Spider on the fucking Tesla coils.
Right.
I'm like, oh, you mean like how Norman sang Itsy Bitsy Spider in the first film? That thing you're not trying to be like, but you're trying to be like again?
looks kind of familiar.
If they were gonna be,
Yeah.
if they were gonna be darker, just make him like an actual Travis Bickle character. Make him a dark, depressed, lonely guy. That would
Yeah.
make more sense.
Or,
Why he became,
I don't know. Make him like the Spectacular Spider-Man cartoon that came out before where he was actually kind of fucking scary. What would you call me? Oh, that's right. I'm Electro! And then he just tries to murder Spider-Man. Like,
Yeah, no, that.
to say nothing of the fact that Peter never once tries to fucking insulate his costume to make himself fight better against.
Right. Yeah.
Like, you want him to be so sciencey in these movies, and yet you don't have him be like, I need to make an insulated costume.
Right, something like
Like the rubber costume he had in the comic, because he has worn
Hell, even
rubber.
the first time he
yeah.
fights Electra, he just has a pair of rubber kitchen
Yeah.
gloves.
Like do something like that. Like you don't have to do you don't have to vacuum fucking Sandman up in a fucking industrial vacuum. But have Peter at least try.
Right.
Like
Oh,
God.
Well, I mean, didn't he try, okay, what was the thing, he was trying to use magnets or something for his
I
costume?
can't remember.
But it's like, okay, that's the way you're going with it? It's like, come on.
That and the fact that after Gwen dies, he spends 6 months not being Spider-Man. I'm like,
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
that was...
he just sits
He
in
got
his-
Rachel Dawes syndrome.
Oh, I mean...
Yeah.
And of course, we're speaking about villains also. The fucking Rhino. Fuck the Rhino.
We're not going to talk about the Rhino because the Rhino ain't fucking relevant.
Which,
yeah, he's in there for like 2 minutes just because, again, they wanted to set up for Amazing Spider-Man 3 and the Sinister Six.
But it's what you said. The fact that people think that these films are darker and deeper, more for adults.
Oh my god, and Paul Giamatti as the Rhino is the fucking...
That's Paul Giamatti?
That's Paul Giamatti.
Oh my god. Oh, he went down.
No, like
I didn't even recognize him.
Like, why couldn't we have just had him be a big Russian motherfucker who gets like an armored suit instead of just I'm an annoying motherfucker who says funny guy?
It's like Yakov Smirnoff on steroids. Like,
Yeah, I think we've held off long enough, gentlemen. It's time to bring out the heavy artillery.
oh god.
Shall we harmonize them? Nobody gives a fuck about
Peter
his
Parker's
parents.
Fuck the parents.
No, listen. I'm cool with them showing it because I
at least give them credit. They didn't make them super spies like they are in the actual fucking comics.
But my god, they drove it into the ground. I'm just like, I don't give a fuck. I'm like, I don't give a fuck.
They begin with it in the
They
first
don't
film.
do anything with it.
Like,
even the alternate ending for 2, which for those who don't know, there's an alternate ending for Amazing Spider-Man 2 where Richard Parker shows up. He's been alive the whole time. He's known everything's happening. He just says, stay away. Makes no fucking sense. Makes probably about as little sense as the rest of the movie.
no, it really fucking doesn't. And
There's some good acting in it, but overall...
Well, then I also get why they didn't do that because it's his daddy being alive that spurs him to be Spider-Man again instead of, like, realizing that Gwen would not want him to not be Spider-Man. Because then it makes her death even more pointless. Which, granted, I get partially because what I know about 3, like you said, that was because they wanted to have him deal with Gwen's death in 3.
Okay.
But that still shouldn't have been something that they held off in.
Yeah. So, which, when I get to 3, listen, I read another leak about this. You are going to lose your fucking mind.
Oh, God.
Okay, so, like, anything you got to offer about the parents, Doug?
I mean, I just didn't care. Like, and of course, like, oh, we had this fucking big elaborate thing, like, oh, the coin is actually like a thing, a token for the subway. It's like, oh, it's like, oh, FDR. It's like, wait, yeah, it's like, do we really have to give a shit? No,
Yeah.
the film could have done much better if we focus on
The glasses being his dad.
Yeah, the glasses being his dad.
Even with the two, like, Electro and Green Goblin, even though they were shitty, you could focus more on them or had done more with them if you had the fucking parent subplot. Nobody gives a shit. And of course, we gotta start with the fight scene where it's like, what is it, a fucking James Bond film now?
Yeah.
It's like, who
Also,
gives a
and
shit?
they cut out an entire subplot where Mary Jane was in it because they cast Shailene Woodley, like Secret Life of an American Teenager. Do you remember when that was on? Seen trailers for that?
No, I don't know.
Do you remember seeing the trailers for Divergent?
I've seen that.
That's that girl, Shailene Woodley. They cast her as Mary Jane, which I think she could have been.
Yeah, she would have been a great Mary Jane. Yeah.
As Mary Jane. You can actually still see her in the trailer.
Yeah.
The one trailer, because she was gonna show up. I think she's gonna be Peter's neighbor. Like, there's there is footage on YouTube of them filming these scenes. Okay.
Yeah.
Like people extras filming it. It has never been released. It is technically labeled as lost media.
Yeah.
Because Sony has it in the vault and they've never released it. Whether it's because they just don't want to pay Shailene Woodley more money by putting it on the I'm surprised they didn't put it on the Blu-ray.
Yeah.
I really am.
Honestly, I am as well.
But they cast her as that, and I mean, they had some cool stuff in there. Like, she was gonna be friendly with Gwen. She was gonna have a motorcycle and stuff.
Okay.
Because they had to make her kind of.
I mean, is that comic accurate or?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I just didn't know. That's cool.
So
now they're doing Ultimate Mary Jane.
Yeah, and
more,
so
I thought it was gonna be the skateboard.
They
thing.
cut that out because they had too much stuff going on.
Fine.
Because it was more important once again to set up a fucking Sinister Six movie.
Yeah.
Instead of giving us the good characters we want.
Yeah. So, but anyway, there's that. You have the the fucking parents thing. The only thing I'm gonna say about the parents is that I'm like, the biggest annoyance I have with this movies is I'm like, stop shoving it down my throat.
Yeah.
I get it. Holy fuck. He has fucking parent issues. I get it. It doesn't make it interesting. It's not good writing. It's not edgy. It's not dark. It's just fucking annoying because it's cliche.
Yeah.
I felt like I was watching an episode of fucking Degrassi.
Like, thank God it was the Jesus allegory from Man of Steel that caught on in shitty superhero films instead of, they need to all be damaged and have bad parents. Ooh.
And also, isn't the point of Uncle Ben and Aunt May, they're the parental figures?
Yeah. No, it really is. Especially because, like...
Also, you want some other shit that was in this movie that they tried to set up and it went nowhere?
What?
So do you remember Felicity Jones' character?
Oh my God, I forgot about this.
The assistant for Harry?
Yes!
That was supposed to be Felicia Hardy, aka Black Cat.
Yeah, because she was pretending to be Harry's secretary so she could steal corporate secrets.
And she was gonna be part of the fucking Sinister Six in the next movie, I'm pretty sure.
Which, yeah.
Is
or
fucking stupid.
either that or probably someone helping Peter out.
Yeah. So anyway, the leaks for Spider-Man 3. There have been a lot of rumors about Spider-Man 3. Probably not as much as there was about Spider-Man 4 at this point. But there have been stuff that has come out from Sony, whether it's from the DDoSing of Sony, the emails got leaked. We got some emails from Avi Arvad.
Yeah.
Everybody's fucking favorite Venom body pillow enthusiast.
Oh my God.
Oh, wow.
But
No, he's the reason why Venom got so pushed.
the only thing he's ever done good was he greenlit Spider-Verse.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
But so anyway, some stuff came out about this movie. Now, obviously, this movie was in its planning stages when it got canceled, so we don't know exactly what the film would be. There's no running
why it got
script.
canceled?
What? No. Wait. Oh, wait.
Why Andrew Garfield got fired?
Yeah. You said it was like he was like sick at like he
And
was
the guy at Sony took it as a personal offense, fired him on the spot, and canceled.
Yeah,
it.
was it like in like South America or like?
Yeah, he
Central
was on a
America?
press tour and he was sick,
Yeah,
but
when-
he didn't call ahead and say he was sick and he wasn't coming.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
the guy was Japanese and like that's
That's kind of like a
pretty
that's
big
a
offense.
that's a cultural thing.
It was a misunderstanding.
Yeah, it was a cultural misunderstanding which could have been handled better.
Yeah.
Right.
Obviously, on both parts.
Yeah, I think even the Sony exec himself has actually apologized or at least been like
He overreacted.
He overreacted.
But anyway, so like, we don't know exactly what they would have done with it. The stuff I've seen in the email leaks has really made me like, I had zero faith. Let me explain to you, like
let
let me summarize the movie that was in the plotting stages. Okay, you ready for this? Peter, first off, has the black suit. Because they're bringing Venom into it. I'm like, oh god, we're doing the black suit
they're
again.
doing the cancer suit thing too from Ultimate, aren't they?
No, let me get to it. They weren't doing that, thank Christ.
This is actually worse, actually.
I thought it was.
The only good thing about this, Peter goes to grief counseling over Gwen. He meets Mary Jane there. I'm like, okay, that could have been cool.
Okay.
I actually like that. That's pretty grounded. That would have given them something to bond over.
Yeah.
So anyway, Peter discovers his blood has healing properties, so he's gonna use it to bring back people that are dead.
Fuck that.
He's gonna try to bring Gwen back. He's gonna try to bring Ben back. I'm like, that is the most un-Spider-Man thing I have ever fucking read in my life.
That's so.
That is so stupid that I literally think I could go to ff.net, find the worst fucking Spider-Man fic ever written, and it would still be better.
I bet there's porn.
I've read some pretty bad fucking fanfic.
So have I. I've read some pretty bad shit in my time, but that takes the fucking cake. That was an official idea. There wasn't a draft yet. They were just kind of spitballing some shit.
Which
So maybe
that
Abby
would have
having a brain fart and fucking.
Probably someone eventually would have been like, "That makes no fucking sense and is stupid. We're not doing that."
I hope it would have gone to Marvel and Stan would have been like, "There ain't no way in hell you're doing that."
Yeah. No. What the fuck?
Yeah. Marvel was not going to sign off on that.
Now leave me alone so I can enjoy my Mexican fat ass Gwen.
It's prominent.
But anyway, there's that.
Yeah.
The other stuff I've seen, like let me pull it up. Let me pull up the listing of people that were known to be involved because of the emails.
But like, what I do know is, because you remember the end scene where they show Dr. Octopus's tentacles and that was also they could set up that Norman was going to make a Sinister Six.
Yeah.
Because they wanted to make a Sinister Six. From what I understand, they wanted to make one where it was about the Sinister Six for like the Suicide Squad, and they become like
That's
heroes.
what you were telling me. You were saying they were supposed to be heroic. That's why I thought Suicide Squad.
Hey, here we go. You ready for this? Cast: Andrew Garfield returning as Peter Parker, Spider-Man.
Okay.
Shailene Woodley as Mary Jane Watson.
Okay.
Felicity Jones as Felicia Hardy / Black Cat.
Okay.
Sally Field as May Parker.
All right.
Fair.
Dane DeHaan as Harry Osborn, Green Goblin returning.
Yeah.
Okay.
Paul Giamatti as Alexei Setkovic / Chris Cooper as Norman Osborn / King Goblin.
What?
Oh well, hold on. To be fair, the guy, Alexi, that's Rhino. King Goblin actually is a thing that Norman has called himself before.
But he was dead. Remember, we all thought Norman was dead.
Yeah.
Oh.
So you're going to bring him back.
Yeah.
They also, there was a report that they were going to include the Spider Slayers.
What?
Craven, there was also, Webb personally expressed interest in seeing Craven the Hunter as the villain in the film.
What?
They also wanted to give him a movie.
They're still trying to do that.
Yeah.
It's
Which apparently, from what I read...
I can't wait to watch Craven fucking kill himself.
But anyway, what is it?
Yeah.
Who's John Wick? I'm drawing a blank.
Oh, Keanu Reeves.
Keanu Reeves got offered the role as Craven. He turned it down. This is like the last 3 months. He turned it down.
Good. I can't see him being funny.
No, I can't either.
It basically would be Neo, but with a hunter guard.
Oh my god. I'm so glad that he turned that down.
He did Cyberpunk.
Finn Whitrock was in talks to portray Eddie Brock in this film, and J.K. Simmons was considered to reprise his role as J. Jonah Jameson.
Like, that's so far the only good thing you've said
That's
is
the only good
J.
thing.
Jonah Jameson coming back.
It was stated the Spider Slayers were also planned for future installments, a bit unknown if it would have been used in this movie. It's likely B.J. Novak's role as Alistair Smythe in Amazing Spider-Man 2 was to set this up. Venom was considered to be a villain in the film, although unknown in what capacity. Be it symbiote alone as Spider-Man's Black Suit or bonding to Eddie Brock. It was implied Gustav Fiers, a shady figure throughout the films, would be dead in this film or Sinister Six before that actor's actual death.
Oh yeah, the guy that
Alan Tudyk was in talks to cameo as Cletus Cassidy.
No!
Which would make sense because you don't know about this. So
Okay.
Carnage is the main villain in the Amazing Spider-Man 2 video game. The
Okay,
video
okay,
game
at least that makes
is
sense.
better than the movie.
No, the video game is leagues better than the movie.
But
And
it's,
the,
like,
because
the video
Gwen
game
don't
has
fucking die.
more shit going on in it.
it's
Yeah.
like, why are they cramming so much shit in it?
Because they were trying to get them. They were trying
Trying to make a
jumpstart.
Spider-Man multiverse. Like I
They
was
were trying
saying,
to
like,
jumpstart.
Yeah.
But in one movie?
They were
Yeah.
doing the same
This is
shit
like
that
the Great Leap-
DC was doing.
This
They were
is
trying to jumpstart it without any of the build-up.
It's like
Yeah.
the Great Leap Forward of films.
Yeah, like and this has been like a thing I argue that they've still been trying to do with Spider-Man. At least with Spider-Verse, they were like, we're gonna do all these different spin-offs with these characters.
Right.
Like, we're gonna do an all-girls movie.
Right.
But like they established like a cast and they established the Spider-Verse.
Right.
So you can just be like, let's see what happens in this Spider-Man's universe.
Right.
It's not, we're gonna just do all of the Sinister Six. Like, at least, like, with the MCU trying to do the Sinister Six, which I'm pretty sure they're gonna try and do at some point.
Right.
I wouldn't be surprised if this next Spider-Man film, it is the Sinister Six. Because, like, they at least set up 2 villains at a time in these.
Right.
In the first film, they set up Vulture. They set up Scorpion.
Right.
Here they set up Electro, and I want to say they set up somebody else, but, like, here it feels much more natural of a Sinister Six setup.
Yeah.
In this, they're just like, oh, Oscorp's gonna make all of them.
Yeah.
Because
oh, yeah, the fucking armament thing?
Yeah, because in the comics, Osborn actually did fund all of their creations in some way, shape, or form. Which is, I'm like, yeah, but that was stupid there, too.
Yeah.
Because, like, it literally is just, oh, Oscorp has been funding villains because in order to get funding for Oscorp, Norman would do experiments for the mob to make supervillains to distract all the heroes.
Okay.
I'm like, okay. But here it's just,
like what I just read you broke you.
No, I didn't know about Venom. Why fucking AV?
Because damn it, it will sell fucking toys. Also, I'm going home to sleep with my Venom body pillow.
I mean, to be fair, Venom does sell toys, but like it has to make sense.
It has to be organic, as you said.
You don't have to explain it, Adam. It's magic.
You fuck off. That was first of all, that was Sada trying to explain
Oh, I know.
bullshit. But no, God, and this that's one of the reasons, in my opinion, why Amazing 2 is so bad. Because
It's not a Spider-Man movie. It's a setup film for
It's a
all this
setup.
other shit.
which I can't stand anymore with like these kind of universes where like it's even a problem with the MCU, and the MCU does the whole thing kind of well.
Right.
Like that's why I hate Thor 2: The Dark World, because it's just setup, and it just feels like it's not even a movie.
It's like a platform.
Yeah. Like, Ant-Man and the Wasp is a better, like, does that better. And Ant-Man and the Wasp is literally just to set up more stuff about Endgame.
Right.
Because it actually takes place, I think, a couple months before Endgame.
So basically, these aren't even ends in themselves. They're means to an end.
Yeah.
Like, which you really don't want that in a film to be
But, like,
honest.
credits do with Ant-Man and Wasp. It's still an entertaining movie if you don't watch the stinger.
Right.
Because it's fun. You have Ant-Man, you have Scott and Janet, like, trying to save the day. They fix their relationship up after Civil War because they broke up because of stupid shit.
Right.
Like, it's a fun romp, and you get Ghost, and like you get, but like Amazing 2, you get nothing. You get nothing, and you get what could actually tell you.
You get bent over and fucked in the ass.
I think I have a perfect metaphor. Tell them about when you guys were watching Spider-Man 2 in the theater, or
Oh yeah.
no, it was Brian.
That was Brian.
Yeah. No.
Brian was excited for Rhino, and it got to the end where it cuts off. Brian actually literally got up and said, "What the fuck?"
Yeah. That is the perfect explanation for these movies because
It's just what the fuck.
they're trying to be so different from the Raimi films.
To a fault.
And they're also trying to have their cake and eat it too. And neither worked. Thankfully, I should say, thankfully the MCU movies came along and kind of, like, got the taste out of our mouths.
Push it to the background. Like push it.
There's problems with the MCU approach too, which we've gone over.
I haven't seen those yet, so I have to still see those.
So I think we've covered a lot of shit.
Yeah.
We've been going for an hour now. So
Yeah.
overall rating wise, Amazing Spider-Man 1 out of 10, I'm gonna give it a 6, and I feel like I'm being pretty middle of the road. Amazing Spider-Man 2, 2 out of 10.
I'd probably give Amazing 1 a 5. I kind of feel it's just kind of standard. You know, maybe if Peter had gotten his chalky milk from that gas station guy, I could have given it a little bit more. Which real quick, that guy deserved. Like I don't even feel bad
to get robbed.
Yeah, I don't even feel bad that Peter. Like I don't even feel like it was Peter's fault that guy got shot.
It's a penny. I need a penny.
Yeah, like that fucking gas station guy got what he deserved.
Do you look like fucking the fat guy from Lost?
He did look like the fat. In fact, I think that is the fat guy from.
Oh,
Lost.
it is.
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah.
In terms of Amazing 2, I'm sorry, I got to give it a 1 out of 10. It is that bad. It's sloppy. It's everything I hate about cinema. Especially with it being just a setup film. I honestly I give it a big stamp of avoid. Like you should not watch this film. It's not a film. It's just a collection of scenes that goes nowhere. Or as I like to call it, the Snyder Cut.
And I'll go calling that 6 out of 10 because I thought it was going to be worse. Like, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, but it still wasn't that great, and it's alright. Like, it wasn't that, like, at least I watched it once and it wasn't, like, that bad about it, but I wouldn't watch it again, so 6 would be fine. Though 5 I could go if I was really in a bad mood. Yeah, I'll go 2 because that film just sucked. And it was as bad as I thought it was going to be. A little bit worse. Like, I'm sorry, but you already made that joke, but it's my birthday. Time to put my candles up. Like, go fuck yourself with that.
I'm going to go after Spider-Man because he didn't come to my birthday.
When Cody said that, I thought Cody was fucking joking with me. I'm like,
No,
it had
you
the
thought
exact
me and
same-
Adam were joking about that too. We're not joking.
No, that's.
So yeah, 2 out of 10. For
Could you
that.
imagine other villains if it were like that?
No.
Oh,
I'm going to get the Infinity Stones because the Avengers didn't come to my birthday.
On that note, guys,
yeah.
I'm Average Joe Squad.
I'm Zonkets 134.
And I don't know why I fucking using this one, so I'm just Doug.
As always, we ask you to remember the hyphen
and
take care.